Well, hey friends, I just wanted to pause for just a moment to kind of check in on with you a little bit. I know we've been going through a very, very difficult time over the course of the last few weeks, given the current situation, given the fact that majority of us are basically on lockdown. We're not able to come and go as we're probably used to. I know we've been having to take a lot of extra precautions as far as especially us as transplant patients, not that we didn't already, but being sure that we wash up, mask up, those types of things, and particularly being sure that we keep everything around us clean as we steer clear from everybody else. I know for me personally, it's been more and more of a practice for us when we're at the house. If someone has to go out, heaven forbid, maybe to run to the grocery store or something like that, thankfully I live in a very small town, so we have a local grocery store where you can likely go in and out without even crossing paths with basically anybody but the cashier. But even when somebody has to go out and we bring something back into the house, we're being very careful to kind of sanitize not only the things they bring in, but maybe even the person. If that means going ahead, running to the store, coming right home, setting the groceries down, jumping in the shower, throwing your clothes in the wash, we've been pretty much doing all of that because we're trying to stay safe as a whole. Now, I've already shared with you many times, I live in a pretty large family. It's my wife and I, and we've got 5 children ranging from 18 all the way down to 3 years old. And so, yeah, we really have to be extra cautious right now because we certainly cannot afford for anyone to get sick, because like with any illness, once one person in the house gets sick, it kind of sweeps the whole house. And this is not something that you need to be getting nor spreading around to family members. So I'm taking a lot of extra precautions there. Now, thankfully, as I've already referred to, we live in a very small town. And by very small, I mean a town of about 1,800 people total. In addition to that, it's a pretty large town as far as the square mileage of it. So those 1,800 people are kind of spread out from one area to another. As a matter of fact, my community, I think if I took a head count, there may be roughly 15 people that live kind of in my community. And by that, I mean in a pretty large area. We live on a property that's very nice ourselves. Our neighbor behind us has like 360 something acres. Our neighbor across from us has like 600 acres. So really there's a lot of space between all the homes. So because there's a space between the homes and stuff like that, there's obviously space between people. So I'm not as at risk as probably the majority of you watching. You probably live in a much more populated place, maybe a larger city. So I get your fears, I get your anxieties, and I'm certainly praying for you during this time. And I hope that you're praying for each other. We are living as a community now, for sure, during this lockdown type of situation. And not that we've not always been a great community here, a transplant helper type community, but I know right now we're really doing much, much more for each other. So I just want you to continue to pray for one another, continue to reach out. We've made so many friends for this community, so whether it's in the comments below the video or over on Facebook, post in the groups that you're members of, even the transplant helper groups, just look for some of those names that's most familiar to you and send them a private message, reach out to them some way. Maybe if you got some personal information, pick up the phone, give them a call. I've gotten several phone calls from many of you already personally that have rang my cell phone. I just answer it. Maybe I may not recognize the number, but I'll generally answer it. And then I've been encouraged by that. People just checking on me. And I think that's really, if there's any good that's going to come out of this situation, it's probably going to be that the whole nation, the whole world even is becoming closer. Particularly this community is becoming closer. So we need to continue to support one another. Now, again, I'm in a small town, so maybe if you see me doing some things like, I know back last week, toward the latter part of the week, we were able to actually go out on our property. There's a creek that runs nearby. We were able to go out on our property, and my son and I do some kayaking. And I think most of you understood that we weren't going out to some commercial type place. We were just here at home. But there actually was one or two that commented something to the effect of, you shouldn't be going out doing that, or, these people like this that are part of the problem, that are not quarantining. We are quarantining. Again, I was just on my property. So I think after I pointed that out, this person, said, oh, wow, didn't realize that, and they apologized. But, just be aware that everybody doesn't have that same situation. Again, I've got a beautiful property, an expansive property where I can do a lot of that. Hopefully you've got something like that you can do to get out. And if nothing else, I want to encourage you, walk outside for a few minutes. Actually, being outside is probably one of the safer places you can be now, unless you're in a really, really highly populated city where everyone's kind of moving along shoulder to shoulder, you know. For most of us, even in larger towns, I think going outside is probably safer than inside. The air's fresh. It's obviously beautiful. I know it does an awful lot for the mindset, for the attitude, for the mentality of this thing, because I know when I go outside like I am right now, I don't feel nearly as trapped. So take advantage of this time. That's what I'm really getting at. You know, stay safe, obviously. Keep yourself clean. Stay healthy if possible. Pray for those who are not able to do that. Pray for the whole nation, not only as the sickness goes, but the financial situation. But don't stop enjoying life. Again, I know this is a time of anxiety, of fear, of apprehensiveness and all, but don't stop enjoying life, folks. Life is still life. It's still something that we're able to do. I had someone randomly call me earlier today that reminded me of this, and I say random because they were actually a recruiter for the United States Army looking for my 18-year-old daughter. She wasn't home, so I took the message. And when I told her I was doing pretty good, she said, "What do you mean pretty good? You answered the phone, you're breathing, you obviously don't have this virus because you're at home." And she went through a list of things, and I thought, you know what? She's actually right. The fact that you and I are able to be alive and able to breathe with health and take deep breaths, you know, that sort of thing, it's certainly a blessing. So just be thankful, be grateful, be appreciative of every given moment that we have, and try to make the best of those things. You know, I know the way this thing's going to end, and basically what it's going to end in being is, obviously there'll be loss of life. There already has, that's sad, but at the end of this, probably what's going to happen, and I don't know if this is a month or 6 months or a year down the road, whatever this will be, but probably what's going to happen is typical. We're going through a tragic time, a scary time right now. Most likely, at some point, as things improve, we're going to get back to life. And we're going to lose focus again of what really matters. And we're going to lose the opportunity that we have now to become closer. Even though we're 6 feet apart or further, we have an opportunity right now to become closer as a people, and to become closer as a community, and to share with one another and support one another that perhaps we won't ever again. You know, maybe this is a wake-up call, and I don't mean that in any negative way. I can say for me personally, let me say that this has been a wake-up call for me to appreciate what I have in life, to appreciate the people that I have in my life, and even that including people just like you. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video finds you doing well. Please comment below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how this is making you feel. I mean, share whatever you like beneath the video. I'd really appreciate it. But until next time, stay stronger, friends.